Welcome friends to EPG Pathashala. I am Dr. N. Janardana, working as faculty in the Department of Psychiatric Social Work, NIMHANS, Bengaluru. Today we are going to discuss about mental health problem in children and adolescents and the interventions what we can provide. So psychological disturbance in childhood are due to an abnormality in one of the areas of emotion, cognition, behavior, relationship, and after a traumatic events. So mental health problem among children can be broadly classified as developmental disorders, externalizing or behavioral disorder, internalizing disorders, psychosis, and miscellaneous. So now let us understand the developmental problem. There is a delay or impairment in the areas of development such as physical, language, cognitive, social, emotional, and moral. Delay or impairment in developmental milestone affects the functioning of children and can cause disability. Developmental disorders include intellectual disability, pervasive development disorder, speech and language disorder, and specific learning disorder. So now let us understand the intellectual disability, earlier known as mental retardation. So it's been characterized by low average intelligence or mental ability and lack of skills necessary for day-to-day living. People with intellectual disability can and do learn new skills, but they learn them more slowly. Intellectual disability is thought to affect about 2% of the population. And the clinical presentation would be delayed developmental milestones, poor ability to learn new things, poor memory, poor speech and comprehension, poor self-help skills, poor social school performance. Now let us understand the degree of mental retardation. So usually the degree of mental retardation is determined by the IQ. For a person who has been diagnosed as a mild degree of mental retardation, the IQ would range between 50 and 70. The mental age would be between 9 to 12 years. Preschool and school develop social and communication skills. Academics up to 6th standard they will be able to perform. And during the adult attainment, self-help they will be able to attain. Literacy, some sort of literacy would be there. Good speech and semi-skilled work would be able to attain. The next category is moderate mental retardation, where the IQ would range between 35 and 50. 6 to under 9 years, the mental age would be. Can learn to talk, poor awareness, motor development would be fair enough. Academics up to 2nd standard would be able to achieve. In terms of the adult attainment, the literacy, not much. Self-help, the person will be able to attend towards the self-help. Domestic speech, person possible. Unskilled or skilled work with supervision, it's possible. Totally given independent, the person may not be able to perform. The third degree would be the severe mental retardation, where the IQ would range between 20 and 35. The mental age would be between 3 and 6 years. Poor motor and speech development, can learn to communicate, but the communication is difficult to understand. During an adult attainment, assisted self-help skills are always required, assisted household chores, minimum speech. Even the person may find it difficult to maintain personal hygiene by himself. He should be always given commands and help to maintain their personal hygiene. The last category is less than 20 IQ, where it is being termed as profound mental retardation, where the mental age would be less than 3 years. They would have problem in gross retardation, needs nursing care, constant aid and supervision. Speech may or may not achieve, self-help may or may not. The person would require constant support. So let us now understand the causes of intellectual disability. The cause can be problem during pregnancy, or problem during childbirth, or injuries occurring after childbirth. Studies have proved that alcohol or drug abuse, malnutrition, certain infection during pregnancy, or increased blood pressure and sugar level can lead to intellectual disability. Okay, during pregnancy, whenever we go to a general practitioner for health condition, usually we are not being treated with antibiotics. So the symptom relief has been planned, because antibiotics sometimes it may affect the growth of the baby. So when the pregnant lady is being exposed to antibiotics or some medicines which may affect a child's growth, that can be one of the reasons for intellectual disability. The problem during childbirth, if a baby is deprived of oxygen during childbirth or born extremely premature, sometimes forcing delivery where the chances of getting injury to the brain is more, and extended labor can be cause for intellectual disability. Illness or injury during the early childhood, like hypothyroidism, malnutrition, infection like whooping cough, chicken pox, measles, infection of membrane covering the brain, that is meningitis, or inflammation of brain itself, encephalitis, traumatic brain injury are the other reasons where the person, like child, chances of getting retardation is going to be more. If you look in terms of our own child practices, always our elders been told to us to take care of children, particularly to avoid head injury. We have been asked whenever the child has been sleeping alone to put pillows so that the child would not fall from the bed and lead to a head injury. So preventing head injury during the early childhood is very important. Sometimes the head injury may turn as a reason for intellectual disability. Other causes include genetic condition, hereditary defect in enzymes, where Down syndrome and etc. can be one of the reasons for mental retardation. Now let us understand what are the treatment modalities available for children or adults with mental retardation or intellectual disability. It's a first thing we need to understand that it's an irreversible condition. Once the person or a child been diagnosed with intellectual disability, it cannot be reversed, and there is no treatment for such reversal condition. With the available knowledge and techniques for management and treatment of intellectual disability, no drug have been found to repair the damage occurred to the brain. So medical and psychiatric comorbidities associated with mental retardation needs early recognition and treatment. It's quite common to see a person with intellectual disability having a comorbid condition of either having an epilepsy or any other medical condition which can be treated with medicine, but his intellectual disability cannot be treated with medicine. Psychosocial interventions available. At the individual level intervention, this depends on the again child's age and the degree of mental retardation and assets and liabilities of the child. Based on that, a thorough assessment need to be done. Based on the assets and liabilities, the interventions need to be planned. Like in younger children, the focus is on sensory, motor, cognitive stimulation, where physio-occupational therapy and speech-language therapy is being provided. For particularly young children where they are not able to attain the motor and development, so a lot of physiotherapeutic interventions need to be provided, and we need to train the parents so that exercises can be done at home, so that the child will be able to attain the motor development. In case if there is a speech delay, speech problem, then a speech therapist will need to be approached, and again the parents need to be trained about the simple tasks which can be performed at home. It's not necessary that entirely we should depend upon the therapist or therapist. So all these skills can be learned back by the families, parents, and they can practice at home. So it should help them to gain the development whichever have been delayed. Older children would require more in terms of self-help, social skill training, education, pre-vocational and vocational training, and job placement. Here the older children may be an adult, an adolescent with intellectual disability or an adult with intellectual disability, where the person should be able to attain self-help skills, where the person should be able to take care of his personal hygiene, toiletry needs should be able to be taken care, and like dress need to be worn, like buttoning, unbuttoning shirts need to be taught to the child, and social skill, minimum social skill training of greeting people, maintaining relationship need to be taught. And as they are not been able to achieve academic grades, they should be helped to get into pre-vocational training and vocational training so that the person would be able to perform certain jobs which would make him occupy and being productive, so that families are also relieved of caring during at least that particular point of time. Family interventions also play a major role, where parent counseling focuses on disclosing the diagnosis. Many parents find it difficult to accept the diagnostic condition, whatever doctors would share with them. So parents need to be helped in terms of understanding, accepting the diagnosis, and then support parents in terms of providing factual information and clearing any misconceptions what they have, instilling realistic hope rather than making them hopeful in terms that my child would become all right after a few years. So help them to make a realistic hope from the child, and the realistic plans need to be established with the families. Give practical solution to and enhance their coping, and help the families to take responsibility in terms of training the child. It is easy to dress the child, but it's difficult to make the child to dress himself. Like buttoning, unbuttoning is easy to button or unbutton by a parent, but making a child to do buttoning or unbuttoning is difficult. Even though if it is difficult, the parents need to concentrate on that and help the child to understand and gain that skill, so that the future the child will be able to take care of himself rather than being dependent on the parents for giving bath to dressing up. So the self-help skill is something which need to be taught to children with intellectual disability, and parents play a major role in such teaching. Each activity need to be broken down into smaller pieces. To give an example, for a person to take bath, like first child need to be taught holding a mug, and then from holding mug to taking water from a bucket, then pouring the water on their body. So the activity need to be broken into small tasks, and try to get mastery of these skills by the child. And once the child become mastery, then the child will be able to take bath by himself. Like applying soap also need to be taught. Like each activity need to be broken into small activities, and help the child to master those activities. So discussing management options in terms of where they can get support, and how much time they should be able to give for themselves. Many a times you have seen parents who end up burnout by taking care of their child with intellectual disability. So we need to discuss with the parent about the need for having time for themselves, and how they can plan their day, and how the work can be distributed between the husband and wife, and is there possibility of taking support of other extended relatives within their family. So all these things need to be discussed, and also need to pay attention towards the stress management of their own emotions, and how to give time, how to make time for themselves in order to deal with this emotion. We also need to make appropriate referrals whenever required, and equipping them with at least some skills for home-based training of the child. Alleviation of stress and enhancing coping and adaptation is also a part of the family counseling. So during the family interventions, we need to talk in terms of handling caregivers' stress and their burden, how that can be addressed with the support of their extended relatives. So we need to initiate a lot of community level intervention, where there have been a lot of legislations and policies and programs within the country. Like we have Mental Health Care Bill now, and the Disability Act, the new Disability Act, and National Trust Act 1999, and the new act which has come in place now. So all these acts need to be we need to educate the parents about all these acts and the provisions available for people with disabilities, and how they can avail such benefits. In case if either parent is a government employee, the employer need to declare themselves in their office that they have an intellectual disabled child, so that they would get some certain benefits of tax exemption up to 10,000 rupees tax exemption will be provided, and also their pension can be transferred after their demise to that child, until the child has been leaving. The child is eligible to get such pension of their parents. So all this education need to be provided for the family. Now the National Trust Act, which got recently amended, and a new act which has come as part of the UNCRPD, which talks about forming a trust so that the assets, whatever the family is going to leave behind, can be given to the trust, and the trust would take the responsibility of taking care of the child until their death. And all the assets, whatever been accumulated by parents, can be maintained by the trust, and the trust would answer some of the questions which are worrying the families, like after me, what would happen to my child. So those questions can be answered through trust. So next developmental disorder is autism spectrum disorder, where ASD, it's called as ASD. ASD comprises group of neuropsychiatric disorder characterized by difficulty in social interaction, language, communication and repetitive behavior, with onset before 3 years of age. The prevalence has been found as 11 per 10,000, 4 to 5 times more common in boys than in the girls. In ASD, the main core symptom would be the child will not be able to get into any social interaction. They would have difficulties in their language, and some children would have a repetitive behavior. Child feel comfortable playing alone, and even if we call the child's name, the child would not respond. Child would be in his or her own world. So the clinical description of children with ASD may be they would avoid eye-to-eye contact with other people. It's very difficult to maintain eye-to-eye contact with these children. May not smile in response to others. Fail to respond to their names. Prefer to be alone. Enjoy playing alone. Not point, show, use mother's hand to point for needs. Do not imitate action. Show slow delay in language development or loss of language skills. Be preoccupied with spinning, rotating objects, lining up objects. Enjoy hand flapping, spinning, rocking. Dislike change in routine or surroundings. So these are some of the clinical symptoms of children with ASD. Now let us understand the treatment available for children with autism spectrum disorder. Intervention for ASD are therapies and behavioral intervention designed to remedy specific symptom and can bring about substantial improvement. Educational and behavioral intervention, the most effective treatment available today are applied behavioral analysis, occupational therapy and speech therapy. So medication, doctor may prescribe medication for treatment for specific autism related symptoms such as anxiety, depression or OCD, seizure or ADHD, but we do not have clear medicine in terms of dealing with autism symptoms. Associated symptoms can be treated with the medicines. So for children with ASD, as they have a language deficiency, the interventions need to be like home-based interventions need to be planned. To give an example, for a child with an ASD who is having a language deficiency, the child may not learn, would have not learned or picked up languages, small basic language which would require for the child's communication. So when the mother is feeding the child, the mother need to use lot of expressive language, start with taking for my son, I am taking this bowl, now I am taking rice, little rice, now I am mixing sambar and then mixing it up, and now I am going to use ghee so that it will give more taste. So a lot of expressive language need to be adopted so that the child would have more exposure towards such language, and child would be able to learn there is something called rice, sambar, bowl. It need to be mixed, ghee need to be mixed, now I am going to feed my son. So all this expressive language would help the child to pick up at least few words from those interactions, and that will help the child to gain the language efficiency and also start interacting. It's difficult to get eye-to-eye contact, but attempts need to be made repeatedly so that the child would at least learn to make eye-to-eye contact and would come out from his or her own world. Now let us learn about the other condition. It's called specific learning disorder. Another form it is called as SLD. It's a group of disorder characterized by inadequate development of specific academic skills. And types of learning disabilities include reading disability, which we call it as dyslexia, mathematic disability and writing disability, dysgraphia and dyscalculia. It can be diagnosed with individual achievements and individually administered standardized tests in reading, writing and mathematics is substantial below that expected age, schooling or level of intelligence. If you just look back our own schooling school, we would have seen some of our friends not having interest in either mathematics or reading or writing. They had problems, difficulty in performing, and then would have ended up either like as a 10th standard, they would have ended their academic career because could not proceed with further. I have seen few people who are doing their higher degrees having problem in terms of simple mathematics. Simple mathematics of addition and subtraction, they would find it very difficult to perform, but somehow they have been able to clear the basic 10th standard and then shifted the stream. We would have seen many people who have shifted the stream, even though they are very intelligent, they would have not taken either science or commerce, and then they would have ended up with humanities studies. The main reason would have been they would have had a difficulty in achieving the mathematical skills. They will not be feeling comfortable, and hence they would shift the stream in the college and get into a different stream which is more comfortable and which is more interesting for them. So let us now understand the symptoms of the reading disorder. A reading disability can affect any part of the reading process, including difficulty to acquire or fluent word recognition, or both word decoding, reading rate, and then reading comprehension are some of the problems in the reading disorder. We have seen children even with like 7th standard, 8th standard could not read a simple like first standard or second standard English book. They would find it difficult. People would join each letter and then make a sentence rather than just making the reading as a word. So each alphabet being read and then they would make it as a sentence. Sometimes people would read, like children would read, but they may not be able to comprehend what they have read. So children would have a problem in terms of the reading. The second category is the disorder of written expression. It includes grammatical and punctuation error within sentences, poor paragraph organization, multiple spelling errors, and excessively poor handwriting. Like I have seen people who are making grammatical mistakes. Like when we ask them to write about station, the letter would be S-T-A-S-I-O-N. So they will not be able to understand that T-I-O-N also make a sound of shan. So shan means they would immediately say S-I-O-N. So S-T-A-S-I-O-N is the spelling they would write for station rather than taking it as like T-I-O-N. So such grammatical errors we would see. And some people also would write, instead of writing C, they would write it reverse C. So children have problem in recognizing the letter C, and often children get confused between the like a letter between C and S, because sometimes C would have a sound of ka and sometimes C would have a sound of sa. So S also would have a similar sound. So this confusion children would have and make grammatical error, which can be neglected as per the law of the land. Then they will be able, they will not be, the spelling errors would have been more, and handwriting, because they are not able, they are not feeling comfortable, so their handwriting would be very poor. The third category is mathematical disability. A math disability involves such difficulties as learning maths concept such as quantity, place value, time, difficulty memorizing math facts, difficulty organizing numbers, understanding how problems are organized on the page. So they would have problem in terms of making simple calculations. They would find it difficult to do addition, subtraction. When given money, that some children may not be feeling comfort, like knowing how much money you should get back from the shopper. So these are some of the mathematical disability children would experience. Now, with regard to the interventions available for children with SLD, like enrolling in special school for learning disabled students like National Institute of Open Schooling. When children are having problem in the schools because of their inability to either read, write or mathematical thing, children would be facing lot of shame and difficulties in the normal school. So sometime it may be necessary for children to enroll themselves in the open schooling so that they can clear the 10th standard exam and 10th standard exam directly and then get into the college life. So remedial treatment is another important interventions which need to be started at the early age, where the children would be taught to the difference between the C and the S. The CA, when it becomes CA becomes Ka and CE becomes Sa. That differentiation they will be able to understand, and also it will help them to gain confidence. And most of these children lack confidence because they have been ill-treated at the school, and schools like teachers won't recognize this as a specific learning problem. They would rather term the children as a lazy child and do not give options for the child, and during a test time an extra time need to be given, or a child should be helped in terms of reading the question, and sometimes the oral assessments can also be carried out, so the child would get the confidence and cope up with the academic pressure. Many a times children are not recognized with SLD, and because of not recognizing, they are not being given extra care and end up in special schools, which is not a good thing. The children need to be as much as possible in a normal school so that they can lead, they can enjoy their childhood and also get some academic things. Academic achievements also can be achieved. Not necessarily always need to be a written assessment, and oral assessment also can be carried out by the schools. And for all these provisions have been made available in the law of the land, which need to be, we need as an interventionist, we need to educate schools so that all these rules can be implemented. Sometimes use of special equipments like word processor with spell checker, dictionaries, all these things can be provided for children who are having learning problems. Classroom adjustment like alternatives or modified assignments, modified testing procedure where extra time can be given, or the child will be made to sit in the resource room to write the exam and to take the test, so that teachers can help them in terms of reading the question and help the child to comprehend the question before writing an answer. And children can be given exemption in terms of spelling errors can be overlooked and sentence formations can be overlooked. So the child, they need to look in terms of the intelligence of the child rather than just looking in terms of the thought process or grammatical error or sentence formation, which should be which should not be considered as a thumb rule for academic assessment. So a lot of concessions from the government being given for children with SLD. Those who have difficulty in terms of the taking up language subject can be exempted, and instead of that an additional subject of their interest can also be added up, and they can get through their exam and proceed with their academic. The fourth category of developmental disorder is attention deficit hyperactive disorder, which occur mostly in first 5 years of life. There are several times more frequently seen more in boys than in girls, and symptoms include difficulty paying attention and difficulty controlling behavior or hyperactivity. Sometimes we would have seen children who are very hyperactive, could not sit at one place, cannot complete tasks given to them. In between they would get up, and difficult to make them sit at one place for at least longer period of time. ADHD must begin before the age of 7 and cause functional impairment in 2 or more settings. That will be at home and also at the school setting. It should have led to impairment. Prevalence, as per the studies, it says that 6 to 12% of the children would have ADHD, and it's more commonly seen in the boys than in girls. Causes occur as a result of number of factors, which can be including genetic predisposition, it can be maternal deprivation, environmental and postnatal brain damage. So it's again multifaceted in terms of the causes of condition. treatment, which include both medication, behavioral therapy, parent management training, environment manipulation, listening with the school, structuring child's daily schedule. And to give an example, a child with an ADHD symptom, a school level of intervention is very much required, where and the therapist need to interact with the school teacher and find ways in terms of giving break for this child, giving small tasks like in between periods the child can be given 5 minutes break, so the child either can go to a toilet and come, or go out and have a water and come, or help the teacher in terms of carrying the book, or giving responsibility in terms of getting the next period class, like next period teacher to the inviting the next period teacher to the class. Small tasks can be given, like the child can be given as a board leader who takes the responsibility of erasing the board immediately after the class, and then cleaning the dust. So small tasks will help them in terms of breaking the routine, so that the child would come back to class and listen to the teacher and learn things, rather than expecting the child to be throughout, like from morning till afternoon in one particular class, without allowing the child to go out. If these such provisions can be made available to the child also would enjoy doing certain things, and also would be able to deal with the extra energy which the ADHD would be giving it to him. So attention enhancement tasks need to be planned, like help the child to coloring and drawing, stringing beads, joining the dots, cutting pictures and striking, scanning pictures, number sorting, grains, cancelling numbers, letters, playing puzzles, chess, carom, other table games, clay modeling. So all those things can be tried out with the child. Thank you all, friends.